All right, good evening. I'm going to go through these, and hopefully you'll be able to see this up on the smart board. But this is what you're doing with the sub, and I'm just doing a lesson on word problems where you have variables on both sides, and I'm going to do two examples. And the two examples I'm going to do are the two problems at the very top of your handout that you already got, and I would like for you to follow along and get these down before you try to do them yourself. You can work on them in class, the rest is homework. Alrighty, so the first one, it says container A and container B have leaks. Container A has 800 milliliters of water and is leaking 6 millimeters per minute. So that's important information. So container A has 8 milliliters of water leaking 6 millimeters per minute. And then container B has 1,000 milliliters of water and is leaking at 10 milliliters per minute. How many minutes will it take for the two containers to have the same amount of water? Okay, some things we need first of all. How many minutes will it take for them to have the same amount of water? So that's what we're trying to find. So I'm going to let M equal the number of minutes to have the same amount of water. And then the second thing I'm going to do is, we know that if you take the number of minutes, oops, that's number 2, the number of minutes times the rate of the leak, that will give you the amount of the leak. Okay, so that's going to be equal to the amount that's leaked out. And then the other thing we need to know is that if you're going to take the amount in the container, so I'm going to say AMT for amount in container, I'm going to put CONT, minus the amount of the leak, that's going to give you the amount remaining. And we want to find out how many minutes it will take for the two containers to have the same amount of water remaining in them during, once as they leak out. So then we know that the two things have to be equal, okay, when they have the same amount. So if we take container A's remaining amount of water, I'll just say amount, that's going to be equal to container B's amount of water that's left. Okay, the amount remaining. So let's look at this and try to set up two equations then, showing the amount of water in container A. Well, it has 800 milliliters, so let's see. Amount in the container minus the leak. And the leak is 6 milliliters per minute. And we know if we multiply that times the rate of the leak, times the number of minutes, and that's going to be our M. So we know we can take container A, the amount in container A, do this in a different color. So the amount in container A is 1,000 milliliters. And if we take away the amount of the leak, and the amount of the leak will be 6 milliliters per minute, so we're just going to say 6 times the number of minutes. And 6 times the number of minutes will tell us how much is leaking out. It's going to tell us the amount of the leak there. We can do the same thing for container B. Oh shoot. Y'all are probably sitting there saying, Miss Stevens. It's 800, yes, okay. So the amount in container A starts with 800, and then it loses 6 milliliters per minute, and this is the number of minutes. Okay, and that's going to be, we want to know when they're equal, when they've lost the same amount of liquid. And so container B starts out with 1,000 milliliters of water. It is leaking 10 milliliters per minute. And so we multiply that by the number of minutes, and that'll tell us the amount of that leak, which is right here. So now, if we solve for M, that'll tell us at the moment where these two containers are equal, have the equal amounts of water. So now we solve. To solve, what I would do is I would add, we want to move the variables first and get them together. I would add 10 M to both sides, because when I add 10m, these will be gone, and this is going to come out to be positive. And remember that this is like plus a negative, and that's plus a negative 6. So negative 6 and 10 is 4m. So now I'm dealing with I'm dealing with positive m's, and I've still got my 800, and I made that plus a negative, so that's now plus 4m, equals, these two are gone, so we have left 1,000. Now we want to move the numbers, or the constants, and get them on the other side. So that means I got to get rid of this 800, so I can isolate the 4m by itself. So when I subtract 800 from 1,000, I get 200, and that's equal to 4m on the left. So now all I have to do is divide both sides by 4. So the number of minutes m is going to equal 50. So 50 minutes is the number of minutes the leaks will have to occur to the point where they have the same amount of water in them. Okay, so all your problems are done the same way. So I did number 1. I think that's enough for you to get the idea that, you know, we have to find two things that are equal, set them equal, and then solve for our variable by moving variables around, like we've already done. So you'll work on these, and then tomorrow we'll come in, I'll give you an answer key just like always, and you can ask questions. So have a good day in class, and please be nice to the sub, and you can work together as long as you're actually working on math. So sub, make sure they're actually talking math, and this class is pretty good at that. Just watch the boys over there. Thank you.